I'm just using a little synthetic sponge here. Most of the time in the film business, we rarely use our hands anymore. I know that when I go to Fashion Week, a lot of the makeup artists still use their hands. It seems to be very prevalent. We don't do that just because of hygiene purposes. We like to keep everything, clean from the other person. And I don't know why they don't do it at Fashion Week, because we get those girls in our chairs and we're just slamming them out one after the other. And, you could be giving everybody the same disease the other one has, So I think it's really important not to use your fingers, unless, you have an occasional, like if you want to do a little occasional blending job like that. But your tools are really important. And if I could read the name on this cream, I could tell you which Avon cream I'm using, but it's really a wonderful cream. I really like it. You can read it for me. What's it say? What's it say? Can you read it?
Ve Neill, reparador, entidade, creme facial.
Now you notice I'm avoiding the eye area. I'm going to go in there with a little bit of a corrector, but I want to get some foundation on first. Now, for film, I prefer not to powder actresses unless I absolutely have to, because it gives them that dewy look that you want. And if when they warm up to the makeup, if they start looking a little excessively greasy, I'll use those blotting papers. I'll try to stay away from powder as much as I can and just use the blotting papers as long as it doesn't pull up too much of the makeup. But it really does give a nice finish to the complexion as well without making it look, heavy and powdered up. I'm going to use a little bit of powder in her cheeks so that I can use the dry rouges. Now this will enable me to use that dry rouge in that area without it sticking too much. And I like to put it up on top as well, just to warm up the complexion. And I'm going to start with a kind of a rosy shade. And I'm going to start right underneath in here to give it shape. I'm going to go on top with a little bit of this really kind of frosted peachy look. I think this will give her a real fresh, dewy look, and just over the top of the cheekbone. And a little bit across the forehead, and you can even take it down onto the collarbone. Now, another trick that I found is, let's say you have a color of rouge that you really like, but it's too strong. You can always mix it with that no color powder I was talking about. And what that'll do is it'll still give you that same tone, that color that you want, but it's not going to come out too strong. And that'll help you also, like when you're trying to avoid powdering too much. And I can't mix it on there now, but you'll see that will just tone that down, and you can just do that directly onto your powder brush to tone down those colors. I'm going to start with this scenario here. I'm trying to go as slowly as I possibly can because I'm really usually very fast, because when you're at work, they want you to have it like, they give you like 10 minutes. Do the whole lid with a little bit of that peach color. And that'll soften that whole green out, but still won't take it away. This is a little bit of a bronzy color. What I'm going to do after this is I'm just going to like really get bold, and I'm going to do her for a nighttime look. I'm just going back in with a little highlighter right underneath the lash. Now, one of my favorite things to do with eyeshadow is to use them wet like an eyeliner. It also works really good to keep eyeshadow on all day long. I mean, as opposed to using an eyeshadow base, if you put how many of you ever used your eyeshadows wet? They actually create a really good look. Sometimes it'll alter the color, but it usually kind of is really a great kind of look. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I won't be doing it for this, but maybe for the nighttime thing, we'll switch over to the wet look and see how that comes out. But for this, we'll just keep to that. And I think a pretty beauty makeup is all about blending. You just have to keep blending and making sure everything stays nice and soft and pretty. No hard lines, especially if you're doing a soft, pretty makeup. Have any of you ever tried using a little fan brush for your mascara? It's the greatest. You can get right in everywhere. It's especially handy for the lower lashes because then you don't have a lot of transfer that way. She's plucked them to the point where it's really heavy on the outside and they're kind of misshapen, so I'm not sure. She needs a little shaping going on here. This is another thing. A lot of actresses are very funny about their eyebrows. In fact, there's a couple of salons in Beverly Hills that all they do is eyebrows. I think it's so retarded, I can't believe it. There's people making millions of dollars off of doing women's eyebrows because most people are so lame at it. So if you can get really good at eyebrows, you're going to do really well. And you know, eyebrows are really important because they are the frame for the eye. So it's really important that you don't mess up your eyebrows. I know a lot of young women go crazy sometimes, just, you know, take them and shave them off when they're little, do stupid stuff, and you know, don't be afraid to pluck a little off the top if you have to make the shape right, you know. This is how they come in palettes like this. This was a palette that I made for Pirates 3, and these are all the colors that we actually use to paint all the pirates in. But there's a really great eyebrow color in here, so I'm going to use that one there. I'm going to extend her brow out just a little bit too, because it looks to me like it's a little short. This technique really works good when you're doing fantasy makeups and you really want to give somebody some really big, fabulous eyebrows. Like I've done a lot of fantasy makeups. In fact, I used this technique on Uma Thurman in Batman to give her those big eyebrows. Those were all painted on by hand, just one hair at a time. So it's a really kind of neat effect and it works really well. In fact, if you use 2 or 3 different colors, you bevel your colors in and out, it actually gives tricks the eye, and the eye thinks it's looking at hair. Especially, it's the different colors that really make it work really well. One of the questions that everybody likes to ask me is, what is it like winning an Academy Award? And the only thing I can say is I've been nominated 9 times, and yeah, it's really great to get nominated, and it's really fun, but there is nothing like winning one. Can I just tell you that? Okay? I'm not going to put any lashes on her for this because I want to save that to, get the enhanced look. But I'm going to do a little bit of a lip treatment, and then we'll switch her over. I'm just going to do a little bit of a soft liner here to enhance her lip. And she's got a pretty good shape, so I'm not going to go too far outside of it. Everybody wants to have bigger lips. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money off of that right now. I kind of have a little bit of a pinky color on her, but I'm going to go over it with a real soft beige, a little bit of a frosted beige color to tone it down just to give it a more natural look. So this is just kind of a nice, soft, pretty beauty makeup. And you could probably do this really quickly, but I was trying to take some nice time for you so you could. Very pretty. Lovely young lady.